In this video, we're going to learn how to calculate population density. So if we recall from previous videos and looking in the codebook for the attribute or census attribute table that we joined into our census blocks for 1990, the total person count is ET1001. However, that's not necessarily a means for calculating things like population per square mile, because we need some other functions in there. So first things we need to do is add two fields to our attribute table. We need to add a geometry field, in this case a square mile field, and we need to add a pop per square mile field, so some place to calculate it. So we're going to do this both at the same time, so we'll just go add field, and I like to use my area fields either by the unit, so like SQMI for square mile. Sometimes I'll put an A in front for area, so I'll have area and then the unit, so SQMI. So I can know what it is when I come back in, ideally documenting this in the metadata, but if in case it somehow gets out of the metadata, intuitively people then could be like, oh, that's a geometry file, must be square mile because it's SQMI. When people use just area, have no idea. So many times I have to recalculate it. I'm going to use a double because we're going to need decimal places, and we're going to click OK. Now we're going to come up here and do an add field, and this is where I'm going to do my pop square mile. So pop SQMI and also a double. Click OK. So now they're out here to the right, and because there's nothing in here to be overwritten, just zeros, we're going to right click on the ASQMI and we're going to calculate geometry. Ignore the warnings, just saying you're outside of an editing session, you're going to overwrite your data, which is okay because we have nothing in there, as long as you make sure it's the right field. And then come down to square miles in the units, and I'm going to leave the coordinate system. You can leave the same, or you could use the one we use for our data frame, which is also fine. Click OK, and we're going to click yes. So here we are. We have our area in square miles. Actually, this is I'm going to double check this. I'm going to run it one more time. Square meters. The numbers did look too big, so square miles, the one on the bottom. The reason being is we should have numbers that look like this, decimal places, not in the thousands. So we have that, and the next thing we need to do is come to our pop square mile. And one thing I always like to check is certain GIS packages don't like math functions that are 0 divided by something, and so I like to sort ascending. It's just a good habit. There's a couple here with 0, so they're going to be 0 anyway. But to do this, we're going to go to selection, select by attribute. And so what I want to do is I want to select everything in the area per square mile. So I have these sorting ascending. So right click, sort ascending. ASQMI is greater than 0. And I'm going to click apply, make sure it works. Click OK. And then down here in the bottom left, I'm going to make sure I only show selected records. And coming back across them, when I calculate this, I should have this selected properly. But I just noticed that I don't, because I used ASQMI and not the ET1001 that I should have. So let's run that one more time. Go to selection, select by attributes, and we're going to change this out to ET1001 is greater than 0, and we want to create a new selection there, and click apply and click OK. So now when we look at this, we should have the ET1001 should have no zeros because we sorted ascending there. Coming back to the pop square mile, I'm going to right click, field calculator. Again, ignore the warning, say yes. Pop per square mile is a math function of our total population, or count of people, in each census block, and that is ET1001 divided by, and then we need our area, so the A square mile, and click OK. And again, this will take a little bit of time, but you can now see that we have the number of people per square mile. And that will conclude this video, and in the next videos I'll show you how to symbolize some of this data. Thanks.